Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class on Friday. It is May 23rd, 2025 at 10 a.m. Central Time as I'm coming to you live. And thank you so much. We already have people tuning in and telling us where they're from, even talking about the weather. We have sunny weather here in the Twin City area. And I noticed that a couple of you are even tuning in from my area. Hey, nice to see your names pop up, and thank you so much for sharing, everybody. We're going to be doing some alterations with one of the Kits Collection kits. This is called Beautiful Blues. It's one of the newest kits that Stampin' Up! Has released, and it is gorgeous. But not only is it gorgeous, but it has lots of parts and pieces so that I was able to multiply the number of cards. So instead of getting 9 cards from this kit, I've added some extra card base and a few different envelopes because I cut up the envelopes. And I've increased it so that we are making, instead of 9, we're making 24 cards. 24 from one kit. That's an absolutely wonderful value if you think about the cost of the kit and all that stuff. I mean, you're paying way less per card to make them. And they're always cheaper than the ones that you get in the stores, right? So why not get into card making? If you're new to card making, let us know. Tell us in the comments. If you're tuning into the live, make sure that you are logged into your Google or YouTube account so that you can chime in during the live. Otherwise, you can sit back and enjoy, and you can comment afterwards. And we're going to have fun. We're going to have fun today. I keep looking off to the sides because I see lots of comments rolling in. This is so much fun to read what you guys are saying. So thank you for being with me today. We do not have Trisha with us today, just so you know. So if you have questions during the live and I don't catch them, please make sure that you keep repeating the question, put it in at the end, maybe make it in capital letters, put some emojis next to it, something that'll make it stand out, because I'm not very good at paying attention to the comments as I'm also teaching paper crafting. Let me think of what else I want to tell you before we get started. Oh, my blog post that is connected to this video. I believe I put the link in the description, but it's not going to go live until, maybe I haven't put the link in yet. Anyways, it's not going to go live until tomorrow morning. Maybe I'll get the blog post done by tonight, but just know that I don't have it ready yet, but I still want to show you all the goodness, and we're going to have photos on the blog. We're going to have measurements, PDF, oh gosh, what else? We're going to have a visual list of supplies. Now, if you are watching this live, there is a list of supplies that's in the description of the video already. So if you are anxious and you want to buy these products now, you certainly can by clicking on those links. Otherwise, you can wait till tomorrow and see the visual links that are in the blog post. And what else? I think that's it that I want to tell you. So I think we're going to move to the desktop, and yep, I made sure that I told you everything. Okay, we're good. We're good on the notes. Let's start by bringing in the kit. So this is the kit. Now I've taken the parts and pieces out already. Like I already made one set of cards from 3. So there are 3 of 3 different kinds, and I took the parts and pieces for this card, and this card, and then the envelopes that would go with them. I've cut them up. I've made the finished samples. And then I've also got another set of supplies in here, right? Because there's 3 sets of the supplies. And then I've taken the other set, so there's a 3rd set, and that's the one that I have staged over here and prepared and ready to cut and put together for you. So from this kit, again, you can take these 9 cards and turn them into 24. I'm only going to do that for you with 3 of the cards. So we're turning 3 into 8. And if you do the math, that is 9 becomes 24. Okay. The kit comes with this little pamphlet that has all of the visual directions that you would need for putting together your cards. It comes with a stamp set. And here's the little sheet that shows what the stamps are. These are the stamps. Here's the ink pad. I like to use a larger version of the ink pad, so let me grab it. I'm grabbing my Night of Navy ink. And then we also get adhesives in the kit. So you have your tear and tape adhesive, you have your dimensionals. I like to supplement with my own adhesive, especially if I'm going to be making multiple cards. So I have more dimensionals, I have my multi-purpose liquid glue, I have my seal adhesive, which is a lot quicker to use than a tear and tape, but the tear and tape is similar. It's like a dry tape type thing. You also get a block with each kit. So if you are a beginning crafter, this is a great way to build your block collection. This is similar to our D-size block. It's not as ergonomic, but it still works just as well for creating. And then in the kit, there were 3 extra labels left over, and that's because when you stamp your sentiments, you want to make sure that they're straight. And if you mess up, you do have an extra side, but it's not like, it doesn't have that same little blue line. But you do have an extra side. You also have 1 extra set of labels for each size. This is not the number of jewels that you get. You actually get one more section. So I did take a 3rd section over here, and I used it already on my finished cards. We're going to take another 3rd and use them on these cards, and I'm going to demonstrate. And then these are the supplies, 1/3 of the supplies, I should say, that you get. So you're going to have your fun little layers, your envelopes. Here's more, like here's the label pieces, right? And then you've got these pretty layers. It's such a fun kit, you guys. Oh, I'm missing a label. It must have fallen. I'll find it. And then you have your card bases. There is so much to create with. So your 3rd one looks like, let's see, I was missing this one. So it's somewhere around here. Anyways, that's 1/3 of the supplies. So let me take and put some stamps onto blocks. Oh, here it is. It's underneath everything. Okay, there's that stamp and this one. We're going to peel them all off of this plastic sheet, flip them upside down, and we will mount our stamps so they're ready to go. We're going to use the Night of Navy ink only, but there's always options, especially if you have, quite a large crafting set of supplies. You could totally add in another color so that these cards aren't just monochromatic. But hello, Julaine. All right, so let's cut. For our extra pieces, you're going to need cardstock, and for every 3 cards that you turn into 8, you're going to need 3 sheets of Night of Navy, full 8.5 by 11, and a half a sheet of Night of Navy. So for the half sheet, we're just going to take this and create 2 bases that don't open up. They are just 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. So these are going to create 2 different cards. These are going to create our 6 other cards. And for making 2 cards from one of those 3 sheets, you're going to score first at 4 1/4 inches. So I positioned my cardstock so that the 8 1/2 is up here at the top and the 11 is going down on the side. And then I've got my light blade, and I'm going to bring it right through to put a crease into my cardstock. So there's the crease. Now I'm going to turn it in this direction so that my 11 inch is at the top. And I'm going to move to the 5 1/2 inch mark over here, grab my darker blade, and I'm going to push with my darker blade to cut my cardstock in half so that I only have to move that blade twice for each of the 2 card bases. I've got 2 card bases. I'll have 2 more, and then these 2, and that creates our 8. And through the magic of being prepared, I have my 8 card bases right here, ready to go. We had some technical difficulty. Did you guys see the post that I put in right at 10 a.m.? When the live began, I clicked my button, and then it gave me this error. And I was like, oh no! But I just tried it again and it worked. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know what was going on. I'm using a bone folder tool just to make those folds nice and sharp. And now we have all our card bases set to go. Let's work with one of the envelopes first. You're going to do this similar thing to the envelopes. There's 3 envelopes for 3 cards, right? The first thing that we're going to do is we're going to cut off the sides. So we're going to trim this edge, and I just take and cover up the dark area of my of the channel of my trimmer. I just cover it up and then I slice and it removes that 1/16 of an inch. I'm going to flip it over and do the same thing to this side. Geneva's excited because she's here during the live. Yay! Yeah, Wednesday during the day, a lot of people work, don't they? So on a weekend, it's kind of nice. Oh, it's not even the weekend yet. It's Friday. Oh, you guys. Well, if you're here today for the first time, because Wednesdays are always tough for you, I appreciate you tuning in. Okay, so now we have our envelope and it's open and it looks like some unique paper, right? We have white paper and we have a printed paper. We're going to trim right where that division is. So I'm lining it up and I'm cutting and I have this beautiful printed paper. Now I've done that to 2 envelopes already. So now what I want from this is a piece that is 5 3/8 inch long. I want each of these to be that. So I'm stacking them because it's going to be quicker. This piece right now though is 5 5/8 inch. I got like glue on my fingernail or something. 5 5/8 inch, which means we need to cut off about 1/8 of an inch from each end here. It's not going to be much. It's just a little corner. And then we're going to turn it and I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to line this edge up with 5 3/8 and trim. And now we have some pieces that are going to fit very nicely in the front of one of our cards. Okay, we also need to make some layers with these. That's what this is good for. Do you see that blue? I'm glad that I have the blue on this side rather than the extra white on this side, or I would have had to trim that again. But we're just going to trim that off. And get our pile going over here. Our little garbage pile is going to go off to the right. Then we're going to trim this piece to 4 1/8 inch tall. Yes, that's what I'm doing this one. I'm doing 4 1/8. And then I'm turning it in this direction. I'm going to do 5 3/8. So this becomes a nice layer for, and I'm just going to show you on the front of this card. It becomes a nice layer for either the front or the inside or wherever, but it's a nice big full layer of white. So we're going to need that, and I'm trying to think of, yep, we're using it on this first card. And then for this piece, we're going to trim off these little guys here, these extra pieces here. And to do that, I just kind of went to the 1/2 inch mark on one side, and then I scooted all of that out of the way. Then I flipped it over and I trimmed at 4 1/2 inches. So in this direction, 4 1/2 inches. And you know what? Let's just trim that because it's getting in the way. I'm going to trim just inside that score line. There, now it's nice and straight. 4 1/2 inches. And that's a little over a 1/2 inch on this side, but it doesn't matter. As long as this is 4 1/2 inches, that is just 1 inch short of 5 1/2, right? Then we're going to rotate this piece and we're going to go to 3 1/4, which is 1 inch short of 4 1/4. So that this layer can also become one on the inside or outside of the card. And we have a nice even border all the way around, a 1/2 inch border. So, excuse me, let's set that off to the side. Yes, my cough is still here, but I feel great, you guys. It's just crazy how that cough is taking forever. Okay. It's like a whole month of coughing. Lives with Rachel, but just be careful because she's going to be coughing. Good thing you guys are not in the same room, right? Okay, let's start with our first card, and then we'll come back to our trimmer eventually because we're going to cut another envelope up in a slightly different way. Oh, I don't want to show you the finished one yet because I like to make things surprises. All right, so for this card, we're going to flip these over and we're going to add our adhesive, and you can use multi-purpose. You can use your seal. I am such a fan of seal that, oh, got the cap on again, that is what I'm choosing to do for this part because it's nice. It's a nice big piece, right? So we can do that. And I'm going to put them on at the same time so that I can make sure everything looks pretty centered as I add. And that looks really good. Ta-da! There we go. There's the front layer of our card. I love it. I love it. For this one, we're going to stamp You're in My Thoughts. We're using the large ink pad, but of course, again, and I'm going to just have this against something dark so you can see, but you can use your small ink pad that comes with the kit. You don't have to buy large ink pads. You don't even have to buy adhesive, you guys. You can use the adhesive that comes in the kit to make these cards. I'm going to leave this open because we're just going to keep using it, right? So there's my sentiment. Now for the front, I thought it'd be fun to add a few more darker, thanks, Yessie, a few more darker leaves because we got the white leaves on there. Isn't this fun how it looks like those, what do they call them, sun prints or something, where you put your flowers against that beautiful blue paper, bring it out in the sun, and then it makes this white shadow. I just love it. Okay, we're going to stamp here, and we're going to rotate, and we're going to stamp here, just to fill in those spaces. And then this piece is going to go on with dimensionals. So I'll just use my full sheet, because I know that if I was going to make 9 cards turn into 24, I would need to have extra dimensionals. So there's where you might have to supplement a little bit. And this ink is still drying on here. You can see the wetness. Can you guys see the wetness on there? So let's just set that aside for a minute. Let's put the layer on the inside of the card. So our kit cardstock is a little bit different than our regular cardstock in that it's got a slight coating to it. So sometimes ink will take a little bit longer to dry on it. If it bugs you, you can take and pat it. In fact, we'll just do that because we're, you know, needing to be a little, see there's a little bit of ink still on there. You can see the moistness. So there we go. Okay, now we can take and add this. And we'll just set that right in the middle. We'll grab some other embellishments because I found that I didn't have enough of those. So, I think they're back here still. So I'm going to reach into my rhinestones. Oh, and I mentioned that I was wearing a wig today, but I changed my mind. So I need to change that in the description of my video. I'm wearing one of my toppers again today, you guys. I think this is the Breeze topper from Uniwigs. I'll put the description in there after the live. All right, you ready? No blues here. That's good. Yeah, this blues kit maybe should have been done on a rainy day, but no. It's so pretty. I just love this kit so much. Let's do one here and a small one next to it and then a medium one up in there. All right, so that is that. So all I did to make these 8 cards from 3 is add cardstock for the base, some extra envelopes. I haven't shown those to you yet, but if you're cutting up envelopes, you're going to need some plain white envelopes. And then I added some extra embellishments, some silvery kind of rhinestones, just because I didn't think that this would go far. So that's it. That's it, you guys. Seriously, it's going to be fun. So that is one card. Let me show you and create with you another card. And this one is using another one of the large envelope layers, the 4 1/4 by 5 3/8. And we're going to add that to the front of the card this time. Holly says blue is her favorite color. Anybody else a lover of blue? Is blue your favorite? Blue has a nice calming effect, doesn't it? I do love the color blue. It's I love a lot of colors though, but green is still my favorite no matter what. All right, we're going to add some dimensionals, but this time we're going to cut some of these dimensionals in half. So I'm just going to slice through here, and that's creating half dimensionals here that I can grab and stick in the corners. You could also use mini dimensionals if you want to. We sell a different size of dimensional called mini dimensionals, but you wouldn't have to. You could take and cut the ones that are in your kit. This one's tilted wrong. You could take the ones that are in your kit and trim them down just like I'm doing here. These are the ones that are like equivalent size. So I'm putting one in each corner, a little half dimensional in each corner. And then I'll fill in like I did in a couple other spots. Okay, let's put, where else do we need some support? Let's put one here. Oops. Might have to cut them into quarters, you guys. And then let's do tiny one up in here somewhere. Maybe right here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That should lift it up enough. Okay, now we'll take the backings off. And you know, if you want to, if you are a fan of white on blue, you could use this white side instead. Let me just show you what that would look like. So you could do that, you know, but we're going to do this. So this layer is 4 by 5.5. So you're going to see just a small little white edge when you lay this down onto the 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch layer. See? Stunning, right? And then for our sentiment, we're going to use this tiny piece, ink it up, stamp it with the Sending Love. And this will just glue down. So we'll take our multi-purpose liquid glue, which I like to use in my precision tip bottle, and I'm going to place it where I know it's going to go on my card. And then I'm going to lift, add a little bit of adhesive, because if I put adhesive all the way across this, it's going to stick in the areas that I don't want it to stick. So you want to add it to your blue layer, your floral layer, and that's going to go down right here. And then we'll bring in those rhinestones again, and our take your pick tool just because it makes it easier. And we're going to add a little bit of bling here and there, just kind of in the spaces, Okay. And then on the inside of the card, we are doing, which one do I have there? I think I have this layer. Yes, this envelope layer. So we're gonna tape that in there, and you could stamp on this. You could put a sentiment on it. Okay, we're calling out colors. Who are yellow, blue? Lots of people love blue. Jana, I love it. Or is it Jana? It's probably Jana. Jana loves green that she painted her house green. Wow. Yellow is Kim's. Blue is Heidi's. Shirley. You guys, this is fun. I'm going to go back and read them all. I love it. And I'm selling you on this kit, Nancy. Oh, good. Well, I'm glad that you like it. I was in love with it the first minute I saw it, but I knew that, I could do so much more beyond just the 9 cards, and I just got excited about it. So that is another finished card. Okay, let's bring in 2 card bases now, and we're gonna put them together in this landscape way with one of the card bases now. Now we're going to cut up one of the card bases and our extra envelope. So we're going to cut this right in half at 4 1/4 so that we have 2 layers to go on the front of our card. Now for one of the layers, I'm going to trim, and I think, yeah, I went down an inch. Okay, so I'm going to lay it in my trimmer so that I have my top edge to this 1 inch mark here. And then I'm going to put the arm down on my trimmer, and I'm going to cut into this right side. And I'm going to go in 1 inch, 2 inch, 2 1/4, I believe it is. Hang on. Oh, 2 1/2. So we're going to go to the 3 inch mark here, which is 2 1/2 inches in. Then we're going to position this. I think we're going to go in. Oh, you know what? Well, we're just going to have to turn it this way. We're going to cut again. So it was at 1 inch, and we went 2 1/2 inches. We're going to now go to 1 3/4 inches, and we're going to go 2 1/2 inches down. Okay? Sorry if I confused you guys. I should have cut in this direction first. So 2 1/2 inches down, where this is at 1 3/4, and then at the 1 inch mark, 2 1/2 inches down where this is at the 1 inch. Okay, so now we have this little flap here We're going to put this in our trimmer at 3 inches. This is where the 3-inch mark came in. And we're going to just slice between those two little cuts there. So I'm placing my trimmer down and I'm going to cut to get that little wedged area out of there. Might have to use our paper snips to finish it off. Let's check it out. Oh yeah, I'll just do a little cut here to separate those. Oh, it's still not cut all the way. Pull it. There, now we have a white layer. For the inside, we need to cut up our envelope again. This time, we'll do the same thing where we start by cutting the sides. There's a 1/16 of an inch off of that side and a 1/16 of an inch off of this side. Open it up. We're going to trim our layers. So let's cut this piece the same way where we cut a 1/2 inch on one side and remove all of these. We flip it over. We cut to the 4.5 inch mark over here on this side. And then we're going to flip it this way and we're going to cut here. This is not a paper pumpkin kit. I just saw a comment come through. This is a kits collection kit because I just love kits. All right, so there's that. And that's going to go on a different card. But we needed to get that ready. And now we're going to cut here. And I think this edge still has a little bit of a score line on it, so let's trim that off first. Trim that off. And then we're going to cut over here. And I'm going to cut at 4 1/4, it looks like. Okay, we're going to save that for this card. So this is 4 1/4. And then we're going to rotate in this direction and we're going to measure. I think we have it at, well, it's a little over 5 1/2. So let's take what half of 5 1/2 is, which is 2 3/4. We're just going to go a little bit further. How's that sound? And now we have 2 inside layers for these 2 cards, but we're going to decorate them. So we're going to take our paper snips and we're going to trim around these beautiful leaves like this so that we have this fun little accent that we can put on the inside of our card. Now I'm not going to do all this trimming because that will take a long time, but I will show you the results of the inside with the finished card. Okay, so you're going to cut this section out, you're going to cut this section out, and those are going to get applied to these layers. These are going to go on the inside, which I'm not going to add now either because I want to make sure my flowers are on there first. But I have one other step to show you on here for the front of the cards. So for this one, we're going to stamp that one sentiment that says, you're in my thoughts. And let's put it against something dark so you can see. So there is that. And for this one, I just thought, you know, if you want to bring out another tool, you could bring out circle dies or circle punches, and you could take and punch a circle instead of cutting a little rectangular piece out. And for this one, we're going to stamp the third sentiment, which we haven't used yet, that says wishing you comfort. And now we can put these cards together. So we'll just put our seal adhesive on, making sure we're getting into all of those little areas. And we'll add this to the front of the card, like that. Oops, make sure it's all the way up to the top. And then this piece will go on with dimensionals. Pop it up a little higher. And set that right in this spot. Now if you want to, you could have a shadow. You know what I mean? Like if you want to, you could have this kind of off center. I just put it in that place, kind of like a missing puzzle piece put back in its spot. And then we'll do the same thing with this. And for this one, because it's a circle, I will put 3 on. Make sure it doesn't wobble. And we'll put that one, oh, we got to put this on first. So that one is going to go on this card on the front. And this piece will go right in its spot. And because it's a circle, I could tilt the words if I wanted to, but you can, you can make them nice and straight as you add, because you can just look at the words as you go. So these two cards turn into these two. So I did add, again, the rhinestone little embellishments here on the front of each one. And on the inside of these cards, I have some really kind of, fancied up little layers, right? Because I added my trimmed out pieces onto these envelope layers. Okay. All right, so there's that. Next, we're going to go with, oh gosh, you guys, we have 4 more cards left. We can do this, right? Because we've done how many so far? We're turning 3 into, what did we do? We did 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, we did 4. We did half. Here we go. Next set. So for the next 2 cards, we're going to be using this card base layer. And I'm going to trim it. We're going to trim in half first, like this. And then for this piece, we're going to trim off, I believe it's 3/4 of an inch. Let me look. Yep, 3/4 of an inch. So we're trimming 3/4 of an inch off here. And we're going to flip that over so that becomes a little sentiment layer. Cool, right? Very easy. For this one, we're going to trim at, and I have to measure it. You know what? I'm going to trim this one at 4 1/4. My other one was a little shorter than I wanted it to be. We're going to do a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 inch piece. So it's a square. And then for this, I believe, and I have to measure again, sorry, forgive me you guys. I don't have all my measurements down on paper yet. We're going to cut one piece that is a 1/2 inch and another piece that is 5/8 of an inch. Now, if you want to, you could just use this whole layer and you could have just a thicker little border if you want to, or you could take and trim it. And I'm going to trim it. And I'm going to use my sticky note. The sticky note trick, you guys. Oops, that's my sticky side. Sticky note trick. So 5/8 of an inch. Stick it in place. There we go. So there is my little layer like that. Okay. Okay, excuse me. We are ready to assemble. My goodness, this cough needs to go away. Okay, so for this one, we're going to take and glue this down first, like that. And then this piece is going to get stamped. But before we stamp it, the thing that you'll want to do is put your layer that's going to go also on the front of your card, kind of, position it where you're going to see it getting added, whether it's like this, or maybe you want to add it over here. Position it where you think it's going to go. And then you can see how much room you have left for your sentiment. So I'm going to go ahead and ink up my sentiment, and it looks like it'll work there. So I just have to make sure that it's off to the right in that spot. Flip this over, and I'm going to add that with seal adhesive or multi-purpose liquid glue. You just ordered this, Donna? It's such a pretty kit. It's one of my favorites. So that's going to go here. And then this piece, which I thought about cutting in half. I mean, you could totally do a couple cards with this by cutting it in half, but I didn't. I didn't cut it in half. There are so many directions you can go when you multiply the kit, you guys. So for this one, we're just going to add 3 dimensionals because it's a large layer. And we will stick that down in this spot. Now here we have the light blue layer, and I thought these accents here from the kit really go well with that, right? So let's take and add a couple on this part, one up here. Oops. I love the take your pick tool for this technique of grabbing little embellishments. So see, this is why I needed lots of rhinestones, because I really used them up on this card. This is one of the first ones I made, and I was just so excited. Okay, for the inside of that card, you're just going to take and add another one of those envelope layers. That is the 3 1/4 by 4 1/2 inch size. That's going to go here, like that. And then for this card, we're going to add our square, and you could really tilt that in either direction, right? I think I tilted it this way on my finished one. So we'll add that to the front of our card. Remember, it's 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And we're just going to center that and add that. And then these guys are going to become the accent pieces for this. But let's stamp our sentiment first. We're going to stamp Sending Love, since it's a 1/2 inch high little sentiment strip. We don't have a lot of room. You can make it larger if you want to. I just liked the layered look. So I'm going to now put this onto our blue little strip here, just for added extra little border on those 3 sides. And this will get stuck up onto dimensionals on the front of our card. So I'm going to put, and it's actually just one area of it that's going to get added with dimensionals, just the end here. So I'm going to stick my dimensional on there so that I know where it's at and it's ready. And then I'm going to position these 2 pieces. I'm starting with the navy one. I'm going to add my seal behind it, and I'm going to tuck that where it's going to be sitting on my card, right about there. And I'll stick that down. And I'll do the same thing with this piece. And I'm trying to remember how I had this one positioned, so hang on just a minute. I think I had it like this. Yes, okay. So we flip it over and we add our seal, keeping this positioned. It's not sticky yet. I didn't take the backing off my dimensional yet, but it's just kind of like sitting as a guide. And I'm going to add that underneath right about here, because you want to make sure that it stays within the border of your card. Now I can peel this off. I can add a little bit of seal adhesive down on this end, stick that down, and trim. And now we add some bling. We add some bling to it. We're going to put a couple up here in this corner, one here, and a couple down in the lower left. For the inside the card, same thing, where we'll add one of our envelope layers. Oh, I love your YouTube name, The Orange Butterfly. The Orange Butterfly just commented saying that she just got this kit, or he just got this kit. He or she, sorry. There we go. Those 2 cards are done. Next, you know, we always assume in card making, don't we? Next, we have these 2 card layers left. And we have this card base, and we have this label. So for this one, you see how this isn't decorative on this side? We're going to cut in this direction, okay? So we are going to cut so that this piece is 2 1/2 on this side, and this piece is 3, right? 2 1/2 and 3. I'm measuring. Yep, that's correct. So 2 1/2 and 3. We're going to fold, and this is where your card is going to open, because you're like, how are you making a card with that, using that as the base? Because this is going to be the part that opens on it. So let's use our bone folder and give that those some sharp creases here. Okay, for the smaller one, I'm going to off-center it, and we're going to use the label. So the label is going to get stamped with our sentiment that says, wishing you comfort. And then this one is going to get stamped in the bottom with sending love. So there are our sentiments. And then we need our blue ink again because we're going to do a background. So we're going to ink this up and we're going to stamp some leaves going off to this side and some leaves going off to the other side. I'm going to rotate it like that. And I think I'm going to do one more down here. Okay, this can get added with seal adhesive right here so that we have about 5/8 of an inch, I don't know, whatever that is, an even border on these three sides. And then this is going to get added with dimensionals. So I'm just going to put a couple here and stick that up over here. Maybe a little higher, maybe right there. And then we need our rhinestones because we ran out of the other embellishments. So let's put a few rhinestones in here. And I'm trying to see what my finished one looks like. I have a medium down here with another small, oops, and then I have a tiny one right here on the actual sentiment piece. So there is a finished card. And then for this one, similar idea here where we're going to stamp a couple leaves. So we'll stamp some up in this corner and then coming off to the side. And again, the stems are going to get covered. And then this one will come down here in the lower corner. And when we add this, oops, there we go. When we add this, we're going to add it in the middle because it's more centered looking with the width of it, right? The width of it is wider. It's a wider width. And then we'll add some rhinestones on this one too to fancy it up. And there is that. There is that. I'm going to close up this ink pad because I keep looking at it. Thank you so much, you guys. Sweet. I'm going to put these stamps off to the side because they are still inked up. And I have only, wait, I think only 2 of them didn't get done completely in this demonstration, but the other ones are all done. So in a sense, like if we think of the 2 that aren't done, that would be what? 16 take away 2. I have 14. I have 14 cards. I whipped together almost 8, and then I had 8 done. So it goes pretty quickly. It can go very quickly, and then you can make such pretty mass loads of cards from this beautiful blues kit, right? And again, all I brought in was the Night of Navy cardstock, the extra white envelopes because we're cutting up the envelopes, and then some extra rhinestones. Of course, I did use the circle punch, but you have the option, if you don't have a circle punch or circle die, you can just do how I did on that first card. I want to call out right now, because we don't have Trisha with us. Oh, thank you, Donna. Call out right now. If you have a question and I didn't answer it during the live, will you please chime in with that question? Because I'm now looking up at the comments and I can read each of them. And I'm glad that you're loving what I shared. Thank you so much. Donna reminded us, if you can, give me the thumbs up. That would be great. That always helps on my YouTube ratings. But yeah, thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. I would really appreciate that. On that note, we do have, subscribing to the channel is completely free. What you get is the ability to have that show up in your YouTube feed when you are on YouTube. You know, typically they will bring the channels that you're subscribed to up first so that you can see what, you know, has been shared on those channels. But you can also click on the bell after you subscribe and you can change your notifications so that you get notified via email when I am going live. So that's always a plus too. If you want to go a little further with YouTube, you can do what's called a membership. And I have 2 membership tiers. One of them is the fan level, and that is 99 cents per month. And you get to use extra emojis, like Tina Rogers just put in this really cute sun, and the fun butterflies. So you get to use extra emojis that are exclusive to my members. You also get your name highlighted. You get a little rhinestone next to it. Your comments are answered first, that sort of thing. If you want to go a little higher, $5.99 per month gets you an extra video that is exclusive just to members. So, and we will be having that soon. In fact, next Friday at 10 a.m. will be the YouTube member, supporting members only live video. So I hope that you can tune in if you're a supporting member. Then, when are the next videos, Rachel? Well, May 28th, and it's a little later than I typically do it, but I have a passion for paper pumpkin kits, which is one of the questions that I know came through while I was demonstrating, but someone said, is this a paper pumpkin kit? It's a kits collection kit, but paper pumpkin kits is a different kind of kit that you can get, and you start what's called a subscription, but you're not really like committed to a certain number of months. You can subscribe for 1 month, but basically it comes to your mailbox, and you get this box delivered to you, you open it up, and it's a surprise. We get little hints at what's in it, but the fun of it is it's a surprise. And I have been creating alternates with these kits since March of 2013. So anyways, that will be next week's video on Wednesday for everybody to see. So I hope you tune in at 11 a.m. on Wednesday. Again, a little later than I normally do, but we have a busy few weeks ahead. My youngest son is graduating from high school. And so we have not only his high school graduation, but a cousin's graduation. We have graduation parties to go to and to hold. And it's kind of a crazy busy time for us. So I'm combining all my alternates into one video next week on Wednesday. Thanks, Karen. What's for dinner, says Beth. Are you talking about at the party? We're going to do Jersey Mike's. But yeah, we just got a busy month ahead. So I just wanted to kind of give you the heads up that I'm only doing one alternate video this coming month for the kit that just arrived. And what else do we have going on? Oh my goodness, let me pull this up, because if you do not know about Stampin' Storage, okay, I'm a huge fan of Stampin' Storage, and I'm pointing behind me because this area of my room just got updated. We have two-tone cardstock now added in. I kept my old 12 by 12 cardstock so that you could still see the colors fairly well, because the new 12 by 12, the core, I call it core, two-toned cardstock, which has the white core, the sides of the cardstock aren't as bright as the regular cardstock. So anyways, you can just see tons of colors back there. It's so pretty. That's all my 12 by 12 cardstock. But that storage, those little cubby things that fit into the calyx unit from IKEA, those items are from Stampin' Storage. These items are from Stampin' Storage. A lot of my organizational big pieces are from Stampin' Storage, and I want to let you know that they just announced a sale. It is, and I'm going to bring you to my computer so you can see. If you go to shop, okay, so we're at stampyourartout.com, and you click on shop, and then you go to Stampin' Storage down here. It's going to take you directly to their website, and they're having a sale. Ooh, you can enter for a chance to win too. But they're having a sale, 10% off for the Memorial Day sale, and 20% off of these little guys here, these things called carousels, which spin. So 10% off overall, and then 20% off their carousel units. And make sure I tell you the right date of that. Oh, and I lost it. I lost it in my feed. It starts today. Let's see if I can find it on my email, because I haven't put this in my blog yet either. So here it is. Oops, Memorial Day sale. It is today through the 26th. Okay, so you can save on some organizational units for your crafting space. Stampin' Up! Is still having their May starter kit special as well. So if you would like to be in on the demonstrator side of things, be in on swaps, become a discount shopper, order things earlier than others, that kind of thing, you can do that by purchasing the starter kit so that you have demonstrator access to all of these perks. You don't have to do what I do. You don't have to sell to anybody. You can just be a discount shopper, but you can also have the option to sell to people if you want to too. It's a fun thing being on the demonstrator side of things. So, okay, I'm looking for question marks. I'm scrolling through the comments that have been added last, and you guys are so sweet. I don't see any questions, so I'm wondering if I just explained it really well. But let me know if you have any questions on what I demonstrated today. I'm peeking at my computer too, because sometimes I can see the comments there better. So yeah, throw it out there if there's any questions that you have that I maybe didn't touch on. But it's so much fun to make cards, and not only is it fun for you as a card maker, but cards are gifted to people. You give cards to people. You write words of love inside, and admiration and celebration, and they touch people's lives. So I hope that you are not only creating these cards, but sending them out to people and, inspiring somebody or celebrating someone or making their day that much brighter. So I think that's it. Oh, do you like this? Yes, this shirt is my navy and white shirt to go with the kit today. And I wore my white pants too. So yeah, we had to coordinate. But thank you all for tuning in. I will let you all go if there's no questions. I see a question from Deb. Okay, let me just quickly answer that. On the card you did with the 2 floral pieces under the sentiment. 2 floral pieces under the sentiment. This one here, I'm guessing. She said, you only put a dimensional under one end of it. Yes, I put it under one end because I wanted that to lift up away from these little areas, but I also didn't want it to lift up over here. I stuck it down completely because I think sometimes if you have an edge a lifted edge go all the way to the edge of your card, it can catch on stuff, and I didn't want that loose edge lifted, so that's why I stuck it down. But yeah, it won't make it as lumpy, that's true. So thank you for that question. Paper pumpkin storage. How do I do paper pumpkin storage? Asks Terry. I'm glad you're asking that today because on Wednesday it's going to be a very fast video. I take and add, you see these bins here? So this is, and I have to pull my paper stuff out, but I have bins with like big Ziploc bags in them. So I transfer things from my boxes eventually into those Ziploc bags, and it shrinks down, the storage space, even though paper pumpkin boxes themselves are not that big. But if you're a subscriber month after month after month, it does make that even more compact. And then my stamps, I put into the 6x8 binders that Stampin' Up! Sells, and I just add them in here. So there's where my stamps are. There's where my little instruction booklets are. Dies, I don't have a place for them yet, but I have considered putting them also into here. But right now I just keep them on a separate little die shelf. So, and then my ink spots, I store in these containers here. These are distress containers, but there's so many options out there. I know that Stampin' Storage has an option for spots too. So, but it's whatever works for your crafting space, right? Okay. All right. Thanks, you guys. All right. Take care, everybody. I will let you go. Have a great weekend, especially if you're here in the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, because it is really nice out today. Enjoy your day. Enjoy your day wherever you're at. Thank you for liking, subscribing, the thumbs up, and all those things. And take care, everybody. Now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.